Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another exciting installment of the Dual Screens podcast. And joining me and only me this week, that's right, because Steven is unavailable, so you get to hear my dulcet tones for the next hour and a half, maybe. Joining me this week is Marek Markuszewski, the creative director of The Invincible, a first-person sci-fi thriller set in a retro future timeline. Marek, welcome to the
Hello,
show. How's it going?
it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to talk about the project.
We've had some back and forth for a couple of weeks now, but I'm glad we finally figured everything out, and now you're back on the show, and you're getting over some illness. Your whole family was sick, apparently. How did that go for you guys? Is everyone doing well?
Not so bad, not so bad. Just being off for 10 days, of the project of the work, and stay home with the family. Uh, so yeah, just some kind of a break, not very intense. So it's good.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better and everyone's doing fine. For those that are new here, this is, of course, the Dual Screens podcast, the world's number one developer interview podcast, probably. Everyone in the gaming industry has a story to tell, and today we're going to hear Marek's story. So, Marek, let's dive in a little bit to your story. I want to begin with you and the genesis of Starwood Industries. You guys are a group of developers with AAA experience and AAA ambitions, according to your website. You've worked on games like The Witcher 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Dead Island, Dying Light. So you guys come from a huge, a well-experienced background of high-profile games. So I think the question on all of our minds is Cyberpunk going to be delayed again?
Okay. You surprised me with this. I don't feel I'm the correct person to answer this. As a player, I believe so. Yeah, that we're gonna play in exactly a month from now. Yes, I do believe.
I mean, I don't want to get too hung up on CD Projekt, but they were like in the headlines a lot lately. What's that like for you, being there for nearly 5 years, seeing your former company being just mentioned over and over again, just in every media outlet you can see?
You know, the team in CD Projekt Red is extraordinary, and they're doing extraordinary things. So nothing, nothing very strange that it's on month of many people around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and you know, the project is supposed to be groundbreaking, and it requires some extra effort,
Mm-hmm.
um, and a lot of events during production cycles. So it's something that you should expect from people from company that work on such project, and that proved with previous titles that it's setting new quality, not expectations. So
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, people
Right.
people are interested about it. So
Right. Right.
nothing to be surprised.
Basically, everyone should just calm down, is what we're saying here. Calm down. It's going to happen.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So,
You are reading those headlines like, "Oh my God, that project does not exist," or "It's weak." No, 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 no. I
well,
can assure
I was going to ask you first, like, is the game even real? That was my first
you.
question.
Of course. No, the great team stands behind. So expect uh, great entertainment soon.
That's awesome. So, again, a more serious note, more about you. You're
Sure.
bringing again a nearly 20-year career of game dev into this studio. What led you into founding Starward? Like, what made you say to yourself, "This is the next step I want to take in my career as a game developer"?
Um, as a game developer from the beginning, or a
No,
game developer.
just what led you to say, you know what, I've had a long career with different studios. I've been on CD Projekt Red for a long time. It's time to move on and, do my own studio. So what led you to do that whole decision-making process for yourself?
Uh, I see myself as a visionary actually. So if you keep a vision inside you, from time to time you feel this feeling that you need to pursue it, to execute it, and I felt it's the proper time because I gained a lot of experience in different places, different titles, different scales, platforms, etc. Met a bunch of super talented people, ambitious people, and if possibilities and experience meet, this vision, it's how to resist,
Hmm.
how to not to do it. So basically, there was something like this combination of several things that merged, and it went really naturally. Uh, my need of jumping into a new train, a very exciting train with people ready to get on board as well. So that's it actually.
Right, because as you were saying, across 16 years now, you've worn many hats and done many different roles, from level designers to environment artists to project manager and senior producer. This is your first game as the creative director. What is that like for you, assuming this kind of role and what's having all that power like for you?
Uh, it's great. Like to make a short answer, it's very responsible. It's like um, creative responsibility is on you. So you cannot step back in any even simple single decision, uh, because at the end it's your responsibility about the final quality of the game. So um, it's quite a pressure, but it's strictly what I felt I wanted to do. I followed wrong path to be ready for this role, and I'm feeling really good. Um, and I have perfect people to support me with this. So it's nothing like. Uh, One man dream with I don't know workers. It's a team of very individual people that bring a lot to the team, and I can totally tell that it's still a team effort and team making it. So it's great because you hear about teamwork a lot, and it's hard to tell what's the best teamwork like. I spotted many places, many situations where it was only a shallow, label, the teamwork, like
Hmm.
some kind of the propaganda, but I feel the real, involvement, motivation, and working hand in hand towards same goal here, just here. So that feels great.
Yeah, and you've actually gathered a lot of rock stars under your belt. You have now guys who worked on the Dying Light franchise, which is an amazing game. And the idea of coupling just the great storytelling that comes from a Witcher 3 title and the gameplay of like a Dying Light seems like a match made in heaven to me. So tell us more about your team. Like, what are their roles, and what are they bringing to the table for the Invincible?
Sure. Okay, so I can go one by one actually. I don't know. We do have time for
Oh no,
everybody.
give us a few highlights if you want.
Sure. So starting with Daniel, who is chief technical officer. I met him in Reality Pump, also a company that was based in Krakow, and The company created Towards and Towards 2, which were RPGs, open world RPGs that premiered on all major consoles at once. Back in, I don't know, 2005, 6, something around this. So it was quite of an achievement, and Daniel was lead architect, a lead programmer for in-house engine to make it happen. So and the size of the team, engine team, was several people. So it was kind of an achievement. And Daniel as well was my partner with convincing CD Projekt Red to open second studio in Krakow. So that was also quite a story. Super. Nobody expected that, right? It was one studio, and
Right. Yeah.
when I was talking about this possibility, many people were like, "You're crazy! It's not going to happen." But it happened and turned well. So yeah, that was Daniel that accompanied me during this process, and Wojtek Ostrycharz. That's one of the guys that I haven't worked with before the project. He was recommended by some developer, and I started to create artistic vision with Wojtek. Actually, a year before the studio was formalized and moved to the office with the founding and the whole team working on the first prototype. So a year before, we had many talks, like, an hour evening talks each day about art style, about references, about how to catch this style that was based on classic art, sci-fi art, very old piece of art, and make it, we label it, it's atom punk. It's
Right. Yeah.
But atom punk sometimes it's connected with not very serious approach, like silly robots. I don't know if you recognize this TV shows, animated TV shows, The Jetsons.
Yes, of course.
So
That was one of my favorite shows as a kid to watch on
yeah,
TV.
it was great, but it's very often used as an example of atom punk, and it's not totally correct. It's not the icon of atom punk, and atom punk tends to be serious as well, and we wanted to make it serious, like all designs, all robots or devices we create, it should be this analog, because it's pre-computer, pre-digital area, totally analog, and some kind of naive and clunky, shapes, but still can work, can happen in real world. So it was quite a challenge to catch this, and I'm really glad I had Wojtek back then. He was super fast, super flexible, open, great talking, and Wojtek is also a great storyteller. He was a director of animated shorts, music clips, and a great storyboard artist as well.
Right.
And Wojtek was a guy who moved from Techland. He was working on Call of Juarez, Gunslinger, Dying Light, the island. So he was, because we have guys around Project Red and Techland. So he was this representative of this group.
Yeah, I think the one thing you have to make sure of, Marek, is whoever did the Dead Island marketing campaign for that game, secure that person to market the Invincible for you guys. Because do you remember that trailer that came back years ago?
Reverse.
Yeah, you got to get that person.
Uh, I knew who it was. I don't remember right now, but it's nobody that's on our team. But yeah, that was a great idea.
So so let's jump into the game itself now. This is a first for me. Most of the time when I do interviews, I have a trailer to look at that has some substance, and a bit of a background to what the game is about, what it would look like and play like. But this is different for me. In this instance, I had to actually read a book to get a sense of what this game is going to be about. So this is a game that's adapted from a novel of the same name by Stanislav Lem. And I want you to sort of tell us what the story is about and why you chose it to adapt into a video game. Why do you feel this story has the pull to work as a science fiction game?
Okay, so I'll start with telling you that if you read the book, you can get the idea of how author of the book, Stanislaw Lem, created a vision of a planet and inhabitants of this planet, and you will understand it perfectly. And the tone, the climate, uh, how he described ships and vehicles, robots. However, in terms of how to imagine what the game would look like, you probably can't, because it's not so easy translation from the book to games. So we need to figure out every second to second, interaction, and the book tends to have shortcuts and different level of details, like description of a scene, and we don't have these shortcuts. We need to present whole scene because it's a first person perspective game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have one main character to observe, and it's a continuous journey. We needed to figure out from the scratch in this part. And why we decided about taking the book. Mm, it's strange that nobody has done it before, actually, because when we participating in white entertainment, like watching movies, TV shows, playing games, it's some kind of a shock that if you take this book, it's so fresh. It's 60-year-old almost book,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fresh. It's still uh, it still have sense, because Lam used to do massive scientific research, like chemistry, physics, and when he constructed his stories, he was doing some kind of simulation. It wasn't like figuring, oh, let some alien shooting guy pop up and it would be a threat and it would be ugly and three eyes, and nothing like this. His visions were solid in terms of like science correctness. So those visions stay so valid and so brilliant. Uh, and another layer of extra um, uh, bonus layers was that he was describing in from other perspective, from those 60s. So it was very natural to go into this retrofuturistic way. So it was like waiting on a plate, like it's so great potential to just translate it to the game. It's still a lot of effort, but the base was very good. And for still a fresh team that is forming and picking a new title, starting flag title for us, it was
Mm-hmm.
very important to have this frame. If you have those good base, it's really it's safer not to float away with the vision and figuring out you can do the best game possible. Too many possibilities, so you would go left and right, and those frame keep us with with the vision.
Right. And it's funny, the more you speak about this, the more it reminds me of Parasite Eve, how the author was a microbiologist and a pharmacologist who I think he studies and he lectures now microbiology, and he thought, I've been studying for a long time, but I can some of these ideas that I come across, I can make a science fiction novel out of it. And then the groundwork is there for what became an amazing video game years down the road.
Mhm,
And it's interesting because when we adapt stories, let's say to film or to video game, there's an obvious connection, like any comic book movie or Ready Player One. It's the blueprint is there to get it from the book to the screen or into a gamer's hands. But this feels like it has a lot of foundation, but a lot of work must be done to get the actual gameplay components in.
mhm,
So what does the core gameplay loop look in a game like this? How do you
mhm,
craft that around its story?
mhm. So basically, uh, we have we split the game into several layers, like environment, music, interaction, equipment, um, actors, meaning the robots, vehicles, and um, all of these things tells a story. That's the main thing. So we just need to figure out what elements plays which role, what story do they tell during the game, and basically that's the first thing. So if you're thinking about the gameplay and the equipment interactions, it always tells you a story, and it describes you of who you are in the game. You're a scientist, so how do you act, how do you move, how do you interact with the world? It's always support the role-playing thing, like uh, you're uh, by talking, by interacting and using those things, you always need to play this role and approach the things that pop up on your path for uh, discovering what's happening here, and figuring out what to do with this. So so basically, and to speak a little bit more, because I can't tell you everything.
Of course,
It's
I understand.
interacting with the vehicles, equipment, some kind of we called it advanced interaction system,
Hmm.
meaning that you don't only click things, you sometimes have some kind of combination with holding, for example, trigger, moving the stick side to mimic what character do. So we have some kind of a bond with what character do, and some kind of the gestures. So it's another element that we feel strengthen this immersive play, and as well interaction with the world. And this set of possibilities of interactions and equipment, it's based on the context. It changes during the game. So if you want to play one part of the game to have some kind of the feeling a main theme, we will allow a new equipment, a new feature that plays a role to support this particular feeling we want here. So basically it changes during the game.
Is it more like an exploration based, or will we see like what we think are conventional like enemy encounters? Like I know it's not an action focused title, but will there
No,
be segments like that?
no, it's not. You will encounter threats. You can die in the game,
Mm,
and you have some kind of combat, but you should not expect like um, combat system. Like you have a gun
right.
and you will go through enemies to achieve some kind of I don't know checkpoint. Uh, we use combat in very movie-like approach, like combat as well tells you a story about the opponent. It can expose emotions of the character, other characters. So it's always like narrative, you know.
Hmm.
It's
So
highly directed. It's interactive, but no systems.
right, I understand. Okay, gotcha. So what is this game setup? What is the driving plot device here? What are the opening moments look like for this game? Give us the initial setup for the character and the world. What's going on here?
Um, the motivation changes, of course, and it's always connected with very natural motivations, like uh, trying to save people, escaping, surviving, uh, and all the scientific research curiosity is. It's always like a side companion for us. It's presented very well, but we try not to motivate people like this is a very strange location and your motivation should be like uh, applying some devices on it to learn more. It's always like very personal, and the opening is I hope it would not change, but it happens sometimes. But to give you like a short glimpse, so basically the start is you're alone and you need to uh, find people, unlock the connection. So basically, the very beginning would be for both for character and for player. We specifically made it that way to make this easier for player to play a role of a character that starts alone and need to uh, um, figure out the situation, gather data, and and proceed after that.
Right,
Uh,
because in the novel,
hmm?
the essential plot is like you're landing on this
Hmm?
strange planet, and that seems uninhabited, and you're looking for your sister ship that was lost some time ago. Is all that still the basic premise of how the game starts out?
It changes a little. I can't give you the details right now because it would be
Oh
the part
boy.
of the narrative review. But all the thing with searching for the ship mentioned in the book and figuring out, doing some kind of inspection, discovery what happened here and who did it, and if you find it, learn more how does it behave, what's the rules of it. It's all there in the game,
Mhm.
uh, but to make the story very intense from this particular person, we needed to add some plots to let you enter this whole story. But yeah, you can expect pretty much scenes, themes from the book if you're familiar with this.
Will this game scare me?
Um, Not in a horror style, more in a thriller style. Uh,
Mm.
it would not be like scary jumps at all. It would be like a little bit slower paced and atmospheric, and very often uh, it would not be like instant, like figuring out all the puzzles would create you a vision that might scare you. uh, yeah, so the feeling of being in, like in danger, being a witness of something,
Right. So
something.
no jump scares, but just setting up an atmosphere, and I'm alone on this planet with weird robot life forms running around. That sort of dread and uncertainty, like, is sort of the underlying tone to the experience.
I would say so, yeah.
All right, so let's get into hardware, because you guys are doing full on next gen.
Mhm.
We see that Microsoft is still supporting their. Actually, can we say that, because it's today is officially the first day of next gen. Next gen is here.
Yeah,
So can we call it next gen anymore? Is it not, this is now current gen?
uh, I mean, it's a good question, you know.
Right. Yeah. So let's rephrase. So Microsoft has pledged to support its older hardware at least for the next 18 months or so, and we have even Sony saying that some of their big first party games like Horizon Forbidden West and Miles Morales will be both on the PS4 and PS5. Why did you guys decide, you know what, we're skipping the cross gen thing, we're going to go full on into the
Uh-huh.
next gen hardware?
You know, it's not a closed thing. We might support in the future, but
Mm.
our goal is to use everything we can from this next gen, this new consoles,
Yes.
with all the features and all the power. Like you saw, we do some kind of realistic approach to graphics. It wasn't like there from the very beginning because it was comic style at first, but we feel we're doing some serious game, doing talking about serious stuff, and for, let's say, major audience, and all the visuals, all the features can really, support this, I don't know, seriousness. So that's our approach. We're doing next gen and PCs. We figure out, maybe it will, we don't want to go with the uh, old consoles and
Mm-hmm.
try and figure out how to expand it, scale it up. What do we want to do eventually to scale down? So we want to present the best experience first. So
Yeah,
that's the philosophy behind it, you know.
right. And I can totally get behind that sentiment. I feel like that's the way to go forward. Just look to the future stuff. So, what about these two next gen consoles, PS5 and the Series X? As a developer, what excites you the most about them?
The simple thing first. Sorry, because it's still a fire. The power, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's much stronger than the previous generation. But there are some things that are very promising. Uh, from PlayStation, especially, we're thinking about these adaptive triggers to support. I told you about those advanced interactions, and
Right.
this other thing that can, expand this experience with doing this variety of interactions with different, triggers, feeling for things like holding up and pushing. We'll try to get the best of those triggers to support those interactions. So on this PlayStation side, on X, uh, we're thinking about actually several things. One is this hardware support for ray tracing, which can also, bring some extra detail like
Yeah.
real-time reflections and
Mm-hmm.
and better lighting. Um, name one, and still a lot ahead of us on production. So we need to explore it a little bit more. So yeah, we'll try to use as much as we can. Also on engine side, because we plan to move to Unreal 5. So
Oh,
as
that's
well,
right. Yeah.
yeah. So that's another thing. And yeah, so a lot of new things, new consoles and new engine. Yeah, it's
Yeah, that must be pretty exciting for you guys. 'Cause you going into this generation, you feel like, you know, Unreal 5, with Lumen and chaos physics, stuff like that. You have PS5, DualSense, 3D audio as well for extra immersion. Series X, just raw power, and again, the ray tracing abilities.
Hmm?
It seems like it's the best time to create a really immersive experience in
Hmm?
gaming with this new hardware and tech.
Perfect recap for for what I said, and I want to add that I'm personally also a big fan of Nintendo Switch, and I really wish we had some kind of a new generation of Switch that we would not to need, I don't know, cut game in half to push it on the
Do you
uh,
think we'll see something out of Nintendo? Like, will they rise to compete in this, 4K world, or
uh,
will they stay with their, we're games first and graphics? They're not a huge deal for us.
I don't know, because they have completely different. They do not compete with
Right.
Xbox or PlayStation, and they always tend to this alternative, way, and it's great. I totally respect that. But yeah, it does not make easy life for developers who want to make a proper port, and especially for us, if you want to, push a lot of effort into high quality graphics, to to make a proper experience for Switch players as well. So I don't know. I wish.
That's actually a good point. I'm thinking about it now that you mentioned it. Do you see a similar challenge with, let's say, the Series X and the S consoles? Like, as a developer, how do you think of those two systems when developing a game for that platform, for the
Uh-huh.
Xbox platform?
Yeah, I'm sure it won't be as challenging as moving to Switch.
Right.
And
Of course. Yeah, that's a whole different ball game.
it's still, the S it's a new generation. It's stronger than the current gen, and the difference with moving from 4K to full HD. Full HD is also very great, and you can still achieve the nice look of the game. And thinking about hardware to run, it doesn't look like a big challenge um, for us to support both types of the console. So it would be okay.
Right. But is it more like the same philosophy where you'll say to yourself, let's plan for the Series X and then we can scale down to the S if we needed to? Or you wouldn't say, let's build it for the S as the foundation, then we'll just scale up to what the X can do?
As far as I'm concerned, it's not a big of a choice for developers to make games only for X. As much as I am aware, you're obliged to deliver for both versions.
Hmm.
Mm, or I might have not very correct information, but yeah. So that's how I believe it works. If you're going for Series X, you need to prepare a Series S version as well. So
All right. So before we get into our most fun part of the show, rapid fire, what is the roadmap for the Invincible? When can we expect to play this game? When can we see this game in action? is the first question I should ask. When can we get some proper gameplay of this? It's out next year, apparently.
Uh, I don't like to make this
Well, I'm not asking for an exact date of a month and a day, but give me like a little ballpark. Where do you think when can we expect an update on this game in terms of what it looks like, what it could play like?
I can say a few months for seeing the footage, game in motion, hearing actors, and have some kind of feel of narrative, because that would be first thing that we would like to show about the game, presenting characters and narratives, dialogues, and later on, of course, expanded to interactions, movement, the equipment, but it would always be creating emotions with the scenes, with voice acting, and something like that. So I believe you can expect in 2 months to see.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Other-
All right, and are you guys still on target to hit the release next year?
That's the current plan to hit late next year.
Okay, because that's the one thing I don't want you to bring over from CD Projekt Red. Just bring all your experience, and I can delay my games too.
Uh, I can confirm that thinking about priorities, bringing the good game would be the first priority,
Of course.
and keeping the dates would be the second one. So still very important, but not before the first one.
All right, Marek, let's get into rapid fire questions. This is more to see what kind of person you are, and yeah. So let's get into it.
Okay.
The first question. This is our most important question on the show.
I have 5 seconds to answer, or something like this.
You can take some time. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Pineapple or pizza, yes or no?
Pineapple on pizza
On
as
pizza.
a topping. As a topping.
No.
What are you the most proud of, but never have an excuse to talk about?
Whoa, that's kind of a rapid. I would need like 10 minutes to figure out.
It's also story time too. So you can think about something you think you're really proud of that you don't talk about often.
I never talked about it. Oh my God, that's so difficult.
What do you think? What's a moment in your life where you thought, "Wow, I did really good here," but I can't brag about it ever to people? You get a party and you can't find the chance to mention this one thing that you're proud of. Wow, it really stumped you. Huh? It's a really difficult question.
Sorry. I know. It's hard to think about the thing that I'm extroverted, so I talk about all the things.
Oh well, there you go.
So
So you just brag everywhere you go. You go to parties, work. You just,
I used to be
guess what I did today, guys.
one thing I can think of is I believe I used to be a good freestyler. Meaning I was doing some kind of rap and people me knows about it, but it was like 20 years ago. But it was fun, part of my life.
Wow. Okay. Look at you, game developer and a freestyle rapper. No, I will not ask you to rap on the show. Don't. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Okay. You're driving on your yacht. It's your brand new yacht you just bought from all the money you're gonna make from the Invincible one day, and you see a serial killer and a child molester both drowning in the ocean. Do you decide to go get lunch or watch a movie instead?
Watch a movie.
Watch a movie. Is cereal a soup?
Is cereal a soup?
Yes. Do you consider cereal a soup?
Oh wait. Oh my God. I'd say no.
Okay. And the answer
Oh.
is no. What is your best opening line on a first date?
Oh my God. Tricky questions.
Is it I used to be a freestyle rapper?
No, I was very shy with women always. Okay. Uh, oh my God. Probably something totally out of situation to confuse the female
Mm.
and trying to check if she has a sense of humor or not. But I can't figure out the joke right now. Maybe
You,
if I see your face.
you could just throw a pie in her face. That's always a good gag to do to people. Would you rather play Among Us or Fall Guys?
Oh, Among Us.
Good choice. The power of flight or invisibility? Which one do you pick?
Of what? Of flight? Of
Flight,
flight?
flight or invisibility?
Oh, both are so tempting.
Oh, yes, they are. But you can only choose one.
Flight.
Flight. Okay. Would you rather fart every time you have to burp or burp every time you have to fart?
And I'm not. And I don't know what burp means. Sorry.
Oh, I could do one now on the show.
Oh, really?
I can't make myself burp.
Sorry.
Uh,
Translate. Ah.
did you hear that? It was a little bit wet too. This is a horrible show, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you all
this
for
is.
listening. I just burped on the
Okay,
show.
I know what part is. Do I prefer again?
So, would you rather fart every time you had to burp or burp every time you had to fart?
Uh, burp every time I want to fart. Yeah.
Okay. What is a conspiracy theory that you believe?
That we live in Matrix.
Ooh, interesting. That was a fast one too. Fast
And I
answer.
wouldn't say it's a conspiracy theory. It's like I kind of really believe it. We live in simulation.
hmm Do you believe in life in other planets?
Yes, but it would not mean what we imagine. It would be totally shocking for us what life can mean, but totally life on extra planets. Yes.
hmm And finally, Marek, where can everyone find you and Star Wars and keep up to date on all things the Invincible?
Sorry. Could you repeat where everybody can find me?
Yes, Twitter, social media. Where can everyone find you?
Me personally,
Or more of the team, actually. So
uh,
where can everyone find the Star Wars team online, social media?
oh yes,
Where can they keep up to date on all
sure.
things the
So,
Invincible?
so basically, Twitter and Facebook. We're using company account Starward Industries, and for the Twitter account, I believe it's Starward Ind because it needs to be short. So we keep updates like every week, both channels, Facebook and Twitter. So yeah, that's basically the main channels of small or big updates.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for another exciting episode of the Dual Screens podcast. I'll leave it to Steven to handle all the housekeeping segments at the end of the show. But Marek, thank you so much. You were an excellent guest. I cannot wait for this game. It looks and sounds amazing. You know, I've just seen screenshots, but I really can't wait to play it. I want to see more of it, and I look forward to seeing it. Hopefully, in the next few months, some updates.
Thank you very much. Great talking to you, and it was great you invited me.
All right, guys. Until next time, I'll steal Steven's closing line. As always, please be excellent to each other.